versus like Mario, or you'll get like they'll take pop culture references, they'll take anime references, they'll take video game references and movie references and put them against each other.
Huh.
By the way,
Yeah.
My Games 19, you really should show off that boss I was talking about.
Oh man, and I shut it off too.
So if, no, you don't have to, because now you can play Croc that Blue Blazing isn't playing.
Oh, that's true. Well,
Yeah.
I was actually gonna show a different game, but sure, I'll play Croc.
Another good game.
What game were you going to show?
Wario Land 4.
Ooh, that's a good one. So
The
I don't
Wario
know if
Land
this
games
thing-
go
I'm-
often forgotten, so I was gonna play it, but
It's like the one Wario Land game I've played extensively. Played the first one for a little bit.
I don't know. 4 was a disappointment to me compared to 3, but I mean it's not that terrible a game. Just it's disappointing compared to 3.
I like 4 better than 3, but I do like 3. I have 3. Maybe it's just because I grew up with 4. That's probably it.
See, and I grew up with 3.
So,
I have never played a Mario or Wario Land game before.
I haven't really played that many. Just the ones I talked about just now.
I don't personally own any of the Mario Land games, but if I did, I'd play them on here. I have
They're really good.
I have Donkey Kong Land 2 and 3. But yeah, those are games.
Cool.
It actually shocked me when I saw Donkey Kong Land on the Game Boy at the store. I'm like, there's a game called Donkey Kong Land? What?
Yeah, I know. It almost doesn't seem right because it's just Donkey Kong Country, but like Game Boy.
It uses
it's
all the level tropes and some of the graphics from the original releases, but it's basically the poor man's Donkey Kong Country because the gameplay is not as good and it's a bit harder to play, especially on the actual console. It's actually much better to play if you play it on a Game Boy player of some type.
By the way, guess who won the donating challenge, as in donating the most?
PlayStation.
Well, no, not team-wise.
No idea.
Mr. Color, he donated 100 euros.
Sounds like he's secured himself a Vita, or what was the other one? It's Vita or 3DS?
3DS.
Okay.
Yeah.
a pretty nice price
pretty
for
mu-
100 euros.
Pretty much the only reason he donated is because we had like a challenge with Picked Up on a Bus when they were doing the Picked Up on a Bus versus Glem 3, where like 8 minutes left of the stream, Picked Up started Mario 1, and then like it was if he could beat Mario 1, then someone would donate $100, and he got to World 8-3.
Well, he used warp zones, like all.
Yeah,
of them.
but that doesn't. But that still counts.
Yeah,
It was
I could
8
beat
minutes.
I could beat Mario 1 in like 20 minutes. You're talking about Mario 3?
Mario 1.
Mario 1. Okay, well, whatever.
Yeah. It was 8 minutes. How the hell would he beat it without warp zones in 8 minutes?
I'm saying this, the record is 5 minutes, 5:20.
Yeah,
That's true.
something like that.
So I mean, it's not
Also,
like an
someone who's bad
implausible-
at the game.
Right.
And so since Big Dip did good enough, he donated 100 euros, which is $132.
Now, if only I could have got my Donkey Kong Country run under an hour.
It's about 86 pounds.
Instead, I had to waste time getting game overs.
He did do Mario 64. He did a 16-star run of Mario 64, but that's not the reason that the guy donated.
Yeah, they all use warps. I mean, you can't beat the game in 5 minutes without using warps. And it's like theoretically impossible. I think the fastest I've ever seen it beat legitly was somebody hooked up an Arduino that had the scripted button inputs to an NES.
Oh my
And you
goodness.
could literally tell, and it literally had it line for line. You'd look at it and be like, that shouldn't work, but it's easily glitched through, and it works. It's really cool. You should really look up, for those who are interested, look up Arduino Super Mario Bros. It is one of the most mind-boggling things you'll see.
Okay, I thought I loaded my game, but it didn't, so I had to reset.
Gex, another good one. That's another good 3D platform.
I need to get a Gex game. I haven't played any of the Gexes, so I need to.
Yeah, they're worth playing. So
I haven't
I have
played
to
them either.
ask, because you sound like you could easily be a contender. How many games, how many systems? I want to know.
I have NES, Super Nintendo, 64, GameCube, Wii, Sega Saturn, Sega Genesis, 32X, Dreamcast, PS1, Game Boy, 3DS, and Pandora.
Okay. All right, you're close. All right, I take that. No, I'm a big collector, so that's why it's when you start talking prices and all that kind of stuff, it's really interesting to me.
Yeah, I keep an eye on price stuff all the time, and it's kind of scary sometimes to look at them and go, "Oh man, 5 years ago I got this for $3. Now it's 20." But yeah, that's just what's happening in the
I don't know. My smartest investment was younger. So have you guys ever heard of Sculpt Fighters? Is the name of it, right? Clay Fighters.
Clay Fighters, yes.
So Clay Fighters 63 1/3. Have you heard of that, right?
Yes.
Oh, right, that one.
Okay, so I got the Sculptor's Cut edition.
Oh man, how much?
I got it in the box and the cartridge for $56.
Oh man.
Oh, wow.
That sounds like a lot.
It does, but
now,
it's not.
But now it goes for $400.
Yeah.
So it was an investment well spent at the time.
Well, good for you.
Yeah.
No, that is one of the more gem pieces that I have. And you would have asked me that, I would have thought I'd just pay the same amount now, just because of that rarity.
Yeah, I haven't until recently really been buying games just to collect. I've always been buying games because it's like, hey, I want to play that game, and so it's like I'd go out and buy them eventually. But now it's just starting to become, hey, that game looks interesting, even though I don't really care for it, I'm gonna buy it anyway. So.
Yep.
That's not really what I just buy games that I know I'll play at some point, that I have a chance of playing. That's what I do.
That makes sense. I don't know. My dream is to own every N64 game, so I've been slowly getting the rare ones.
That's actually not too bad of a dream, because I mean, it's not that big. It's not that big of a library to begin with, and there's not a ton of games on the 64 that are like super rare. So it's pretty realistic.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess I'm the dum-dum because I want to collect all Super Nintendo stuff, and right now...
Have fun. That's inexpensive.
Yeah, that sounds
have fun with Earthbound.
Possible things.
Earthbound should fall here a little bit. I'm used to be up to 180, now it's down to 140. I'm betting it gets to $180.
The moment it gets under $100, I'll be like, yay, now I can afford it, and proceed to go out and buy it. Earthbound.
Oh.
I'll bet
I just got that on Virtual Console like 2 days ago.
Excellent.
The Virtual Console version, it's probably going to go down a little bit, but I still think it's going to end up being at least like $100, no matter what.
Yeah.
Well, if that's the case, then I'll just wait for the day when I can actually afford to buy it. Right now, it's just not in the cards. Like
they only sold 150,000 copies. So.
Like 150.
Yeah, but we talk about that like as if it's like an insanely low amount, when really it's not that
Back
bad.
in the day, that's actually a decent fair amount that was sold.
Yeah.
I mean, a Blockbuster in the Super Nintendo era is like 300,000, 400,000. So you're sitting at only about half of what would normally be there. To me, it's an uncommon game. The issue is that the demand was so high and the supply was so low. Well, not so low. It just wasn't able to supply the demand. With the Virtual Console game out now, that should take off a lot of the demand, if that makes sense.
Like, realistically, if we looked at Earthbound just as how rare the game is, I think the price would be something more like $60 to $80.
Yeah.
But because of the actual, like, you know, the cult following it has and so much interest in the game, like, the demand is just ridiculous, and so prices can just go way out there, just almost ridiculousness, you know.
Yeah. And the one thing I hate is, as you see in the chat, if you were to look at the stream, my buddy TM found Chrono Trigger for $5.
Yeah, my dad found a copy of Chrono Trigger with the manual and everything else except for the box for, what was it, $20?
It's ridiculous.
But he gave it to my sister, and my sister a year later proceeded to sell it. So.
Oh.
Yeah.
That would break my heart.
Yeah, it did. It broke mine.
No, okay. So my buddy Tim and I, before I got in this call, we were having a discussion. What is like your top favorite box arts, and your worst box arts? Yes, box arts. So for me and him, we both agree that though box art doesn't persuade us at on a series that we know we're going to get right away. So like if it's a Mario, if it's like a Gears of War, if it's a Zelda, if it's all any of those kinds of games where we know we're going to buy it either way.
Right.
But you walk into that game store and you just see random games. It's that box art that clinches you. So what is some of the best that you like, and what's the worst that you like? And there's just kind of an interesting kind of conversation we were having.
I wish I could say I had more of a conversation to go with that. But especially when I was younger, my parents mostly only bought used games, so I never really saw the boxes.
Well, for most Super Nintendo, the cartridge image is the box art.
Yeah. Well, I can tell you for sure, though, the worst box art I've ever seen, so far, I'm sure there's worse, is the Super Nintendo game called Tough Enough. The box art for that one is just unbelievably bad.
All right, looking it up.
Honestly, I'd have to say the best box art I've seen. Just like I tend to not pay attention to box art because most of the games I know I want to play, I'll see from the side instead of from the box art at the stores and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I think the best one that I've seen would be Legend of Dragoon because like I saw that and I instantly wanted it.
Oh, I love Legend of Dragoon. Such an excellent game.
And then I also.
Sorry, go ahead.
I also saw it was another PS1 game that had like a ton of discs, but I don't remember what it was called. But it was like $50 at the store, but it looked awesome.
Yeah.
No. Another Super Nintendo title that has a really bad cover, Lawnmower Man. It's got well, not only is it a bad game, Tough Enough was a bad game too, but the cover is just oh my gosh! Like it's scary. If you were going through
I couldn't find it. So
if you're a 3-year-old and you're like going through the store and you see that box art, you would be freaked out because it looks like a really crappy CGI like face. It's kind of like the face in Tron.
Keep getting old.
So it's like the face in Tron, and I'm just gonna leave it at that.
To be honest,
original Tron.
The worst box art I've seen is either none. Or the one that GameStop gives with doesn't have one.
Okay.
I'm talking about official box art.
I know. I'm making a joke. I don't have any idea.
One of the more worst ones that both Tim and I have seen, and we both like to make jokes. So there's Game of the Year editions, right?
Yes. So oh my gosh! I think I know exactly what you're talking about.
So the one that we absolutely hate is the Arkham City one.
Yep, exactly.
So the original one looks really good, and we love the box art. You go and look, and I have the Game of the Year edition one because that's what he gave me because I wanted the DLC. So he gave it to me for my birthday. And it is just filled to the brim with like 10 out of 10, fantastic game from this magazine. This is all over the front of the box. It's like, I don't want to see that garbage. Why are you even putting that? You already sold me on the game. But then there's good Game of the Years like Skyrim. If you've seen that one, the new one, it looks really nice. It's like got this silver metal background. It looks solid. It is nice.
I'm so indecisive on what game to stream right now.
Sorry, I'm not talking very much, guys. I made a poor choice of game to play while watching this.
Hey, my game's 19. You should stream.